Now in this section, or this video, we're going to just give you a quick tour of Excel 2010. So this version, Excel 2007, as I mentioned before, for Windows works very much the same as does Excel 2008 and 2011 for the Macintosh. Although I'm not as familiar with 2008 on the Macintosh. So hopefully by now you've opened up studentbudget.xlsx. That's the file that's the spreadsheet that's available from the Files section of our website. So open that up. Don't worry if you can't see all of the text. For instance, over here we have September is sort of cut off, money, fraud, something's cut off. Don't worry about that. We're going to see how to fix that later in a subsequent video. But the new interface, if you've used Excel from a previous version, it used to have menus and it had a little toolbar up at the top. Well, the toolbar has expanded considerably and the menus are kind of gone. The toolbar has become now what's called ribbons. So this entire section up at the top of the screen is called a ribbon, and each ribbon that you access is available by clicking on these tabs at the top. These are no longer menus so much as they're called ribbon tabs. Now, for anything that is about your spreadsheet, not just working with the spreadsheet directly, but things like help or saving your spreadsheet as a file or printing it and so forth, all of that will always be found under the File tab, which opens an area that looks very different, and it's called, actually, Microsoft Office calls this Backstage. They invented a new word for this. But that's where you find the commands for saving, saving with a new name, opening an existing spreadsheet, closing the one you're working at, for instance. Info, here's some details about the spreadsheet that you're looking at now. Recent are spreadsheets that you've edited recently, that you've worked with, your most recent 10 spreadsheets, something like that. Creating a new one. Printing, of course. Print always has the print preview on the right hand side, so we don't really have a separate thing for print preview anymore. Now it's just part of the print. And here are the print options that we have. You won't see exactly these print options if you're in the lab. Save and send is just a shortcut for saving your file and then sending it via email, which you might use, you might not. Help, of course, and exit the program entirely. But the Home tab is probably where we spend most of our time. So just after File is Home tab, where we see our spreadsheet. Here it is here. And it gives us the most common formatting and searching, sorting options that we're likely to use. Of course, on the Insert tab, we can find other things you can insert, like pictures, little bits of text, special symbols for those of you who have to do equations or need Greek symbols for something. Page layout is sort of horizontal or vertical, margins, grid lines, and so forth. Formulas we'll use later when we get to functions and formulas and functions. Those are using calculations in spreadsheet, and a few more that we won't look at too much. But you can experiment with all of these. The idea with ribbons is that it gathers together all of the things you're doing right now and tries to give you the commands that would be most useful to you. In some ways, it's very similar to right-clicking. So if I click on a cell, we'll get to why that's called a cell in a minute, but then I right-click using the right mouse button, or control-click on a Mac. Well, here's all the options that I can do with that one cell. So up here we have some formatting stuff, and then down here we have some other options that I can do. So you'll find that whenever, again, you right-click on something, it'll give you options you can do with it. Same thing with these ribbon bars. Whatever you're working on, it will try and give you options that are most appropriate to what you're working on. And in fact, it may cook up new ribbons with new tabs at the top that are highlighted with color to show you that these are things you can only do when you're working with, say, a chart or with an image. We can put pictures into our spreadsheets as well, just for pizzazz if we want. So we have the ribbon. If you're curious, we can use the mouse to get to all of those buttons, but in case you're curious, we can also use the keyboard to get to all of the functions that are available through all of the ribbons. And it's all through, this is similar to before, it's all through the Alt key, which is just to the left or right of our spacebar. So if you hit the Alt key, you'll see a bunch of letters pop up all along here, and numbers at the top of the screen. So if I wanted the page layout tab, for instance, notice that it has a P right next to it, so I'll just hit the letter P. That'll take me to the page layout tab and show me a whole bunch of little letters next to all of the things I can do with page layout. If I wanted to change, for instance, margins, I would just hit M, like so. And it pops open, so I can use the keyboard and then the arrow key to find what it is that I want. If I want to undo at any point after I've used the Alt key, I just hit Escape. That takes me to the previous level of sort of command. I notice some of them also have 2 letters. I just need to type for selection pane. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I can type A and then P. Once I type the A, it'll just narrow it down to just the commands that start with A, and then I can hit P for selection pane or A for a line, let's say. And so at any point, I can hit Escape to go back and back again. So if you're using your keyboard, if the mouse is too far away or you prefer, you want to train your fingers to do this for you, use the Alt key. There's also one more thing. At the top left of the screen, you'll see you have a Save button, a little floppy disk, which is an icon that is losing its currency, because how many of us have seen a floppy disk in the past year or so? But it still means save. So you click on that, you can save. You'll see other buttons up here. Maybe you don't see the same ones I have. They're not highlighted right now as the undo and the redo buttons. You can also add your own buttons up there. These are for anything that you want to get at quickly. You don't want to go through all the ribbons, or you don't want to use the Alt keys and the letters and so forth. You can just add them. So if you find that you're often using print preview and print, I can just add that there, and now I've got a button quickly to get to print preview. If I use the Alt key, you'll notice that all of these little quick access buttons, as they're called, have numbers. So Alt and then the 5 button, for instance, would take me immediately to print and print preview. And these are just the obvious ones that it thinks you might want. You can also choose more commands, and you can get a whole list. This is just the popular ones. If you choose all commands, you get a list that goes on for days. So you can add a whole bunch of stuff to the top if you find that you're using functions repeatedly, tools or features in Excel, and you don't want to have to go through all the trouble of finding them. If you're really used to Excel 2003 and you want to know what happened to your menu or what happened to your toolbar button that you knew in Excel 2003, and you want to find out where is it gone, which ribbon is it on now, you can go to File, Help, click on Getting Started. I can't do it here because I don't have an internet connection where I happen to be, but it'll pop open the web browser, Internet Explorer. And one of the options is Show me where my commands are. And it will give you a little pop-up window that takes a minute to load. And then it looks like Excel 2003. You can click anywhere on that, on a menu item or a toolbar button, and it will take you right to where that menu item or toolbar button has disappeared to and reappeared in Excel 2010. So it's sort of a translation device if you're used to the old one. If you're not, if this is all brand new to you anyway, then you don't need that. But of course, here's the Help. So under the File, the Backstage button, which is always colored a little bit, go to Help, and you can get Microsoft Office help for all of your features that you're using or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that's our video for the introduction to Office 2010, what it looks like. Of course, we're going to be practicing for the next month or more with Excel, so we'll get used to the idea of ribbons, hopefully. And our next video, which we're about to start, will cover some of the terminology for spreadsheets. See you in a minute.